you say do business a little bit different or a lot different, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, and it's the arc of the story. Anurag and I go our different ways. For a number of years, I kind of buckle down, and I focus on the key core people and businesses in my life. Rain being one of them, of course. And kind of, I was shattered after it was all over. With Anurag, there's no, that's just the truth. Anurag's brilliant, and I have nothing but massive, love and honor him for the teacher and the mentor that he was. And
Mhm.
it's hard work. There's no doubt about it. I came out of it beat up. And kind of circled into that for a little while. But, coming out of that, what I got reconnected to, and this is answering your question, Patrick, I haven't forgotten that, is, some of the core aspects of what that meant, and what was the magic, like what was really, really cool and exciting about, what it was in these companies that we were doing that made them different. And, what immediately came to mind, and something that I'd kind of let drift a little bit, after that time, was this idea of the mission. And I think this is, and I spend a lot of time these days when I'm working with other clients. I do some public speaking around this now. The mission, and really the mission as it relates to a business, is how do you want to leave everyone that comes into contact with you as an organization, right, Patrick? So, I mean, you'll remember this, but there was a book written by Jim Collins called Built to Last. And that was one of his original books, and one of the first books. And what he did in that book is he looked at companies that had existed over a long period of time, like decades. And inside that kind of set of businesses that exist over decades, 'cause not a lot of businesses exist over decades, right? But these businesses existed for a long time. And he looked at them, and he looked for businesses that not only had existed for a long time, but actually had grown, and grown exponentially over that time. So they've been super successful. So there's this small subset inside that larger set of businesses that were successful. And he's like, okay, so what is it that's special about these businesses? And what he learned was that there was basically this ethos, right? And it was a short statement that they had, basically a mission statement, that said, this is how we want to leave everyone we come into contact with.
Mhm.
So, for example, and I'll test you here. Here's a couple. So here's one: magic, fun, and happiness. Who do you think that is?
Disneyland. Disney.
Exactly right. So Disney's mission, everybody at Disney knows that their job is to deliver magic, fun, and happiness. Doesn't say anything about, dolls or amusement parks or anything like that. It just says your job, if you work for Disney, is to deliver magic, fun, and happiness. A street
Mhm.
sweeper in the, in the amusement park, he sees a child over there crying. He knows his job is to put down the broom, go over there and deliver magic, fun, and happiness. Simple, right? He doesn't have to consult a policy manual, doesn't have to remember anything. And and I know we've had conversations, Patrick, and I know our focus, on values, and values are important, absolutely. And to me, this mission statement is just a summary of those values in some ways, and it becomes a phrase that you can use to capture all of those values that you've determined that you have as an organization.
But I think, and just to interject here, Nick, is
Yeah.
when you use the word ethos, right? And not a lot of people necessarily understand ethos. I'll give it my definition, and I think it's some version of the Webster definition or whatever it is, which is really it's a statement of character of an individual or an organization. So, in other words, your ethos is, I will call it identity. What is your identity? And in the context that we give it and use it, it's actually a statement that is intentional. It's what we use in part of our mission, and it's what the company represents. It's what the individuals of the company represent. So ethos is an important word in the context of mission. At least that's how I hold it, and that's how I see it.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. Um, a couple quick other examples, Patrick. To invoke the imagination, provoke the senses, and evoke the emotions of people around the world. Any guesses?
I know this one. I've heard this one. I get this one. No, I'm not going to guess right now.
Cirque du Soleil.
Cirque du Soleil. There you go.
Yeah. Have you seen?
That's
Have you
good.
have you been to any shows?
Oh yeah, many times, many.
Right. So I this one's long in my opinion. I shorten it personally to invoke provoke, and evoke. Really, like that's what they're out to do. And
Mm.
like you said, you've been to these events, you've seen them in action. You know that everything that they are doing is designed around uh, provoking, evoking, and it, that's exactly what they're doing, and everything is held up to that. And if it
Mhm.
doesn't pass, if it doesn't match up, if it isn't consistent with that mission, doesn't make it on the stage, right?
Mhm.
And the really interesting thing about, and what I love about Cirque du Soleil is wherever they have control of their environment, that's being run. I saw them here in Victoria at the arena, and you walk into the arena and they don't have control of that environment, and it's very different. It's like you're going to a hockey game. You could be doing anything in that arena, but the minute you walk into and sit down in your seat and the lights go down, now they have control, and everything from that moment on is consistent with that mission. The work, the care, the attention, the love that they put into that to have it come out that way is just phenomenal. My daughter,
Mhm.
Summer, she's 10 years old, took her to it. She's pretty stoic. Like, she doesn't react to a lot. She could not sit on her hands if she had wanted to. She was up and cheering, she was crying, she was laughing, she was doing it all, and you couldn't have stopped her. And that's what, it looks like when a true mission is being delivered inside an organization.